So hi guys, my name is Siddhant and welcome back to a new video, and today I am going to teach you a very interesting and very important business lesson, but in the form of story, right? And this story is going to be about history of branding. We are going to see how the branding has changed over a period of thousands of years and how the companies have evolved, how the customers have evolved, and how the brand perceptions have changed as the technologies have developed, right? And therefore I thought that I should make a video on branding. But before telling you the strategies to create a brand, before teaching you how to create a logo, create the right name, I thought that I should first share with you the history of branding, the story of branding, because it's all about understanding the feelings, the emotions. And if you're able to crack those emotions and the feelings of customers, I think branding would be a very easy job, right? So if you're interested in knowing the full story, the history of branding, then do watch this video till the end, and I'm sure that you will love it. You will learn a lot of lessons through the history of branding as well. And if you're new to this channel, then do hit the like button, do subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit the bell icon to receive the latest notifications of my videos on time. So hi guys, let's directly dive down into the video. So let's start by understanding what is branding. So branding is nothing but a process of creation, the look, the feel, the emotions, the image, the voice of the product or the company that you are promoting, that you're proposing to your customers, right? And therefore branding is very important, especially in today's world where we are seeing a lot of D2C companies come up, right? The internet first companies. And in their case, it becomes very important to have a strong brand so that the customers can believe in them, in their products, in their mission, and can pay them online and get their products. And so what branding does is that it creates a sense of trust in the company, in the product, right? And which is very important to get loyal customers. So if you ask me, then branding is not just about the look, feel, the logo, right? So branding has four components. The first component would be the promise. What does your product do? The second would be the story. What is the background of your startup? What is the background of your company? Why? What is your mission? What is your vision? And the third one is the values. What drives the team? What drives you to run that company? And the fourth and the last one would be the visual. How the brand looks, what is its name, and what is the feel of the brand. So these are the four main components of branding. Now, why is branding important? We all know that there's a saying in Hindi, right? Jo dikhta hai wo bikta hai. That is, we buy what we see, and if we are impressed by the first impression of anything, then there's a high probability that we may end up buying that product. And there's a great theory in business that 95% of the purchase decisions of the customers are subconscious, right? And only 5% are based on your features or the price or the offers that you're providing. And therefore, going into that subconscious mind of the customer is all that we have to do as a brand. And if you're able to get into the subconscious mind, and if you're able to get the trust of the customers, then 95% of the customers' purchase decisions are based on the subconscious mind. So for example, even if Samsung builds the greatest Android smartphone on the planet Earth with lots of plenty of features, the fans of Apple would still go and buy Apple even if it has much lower features, right? So it works that way, right? It all boils down to the emotions, the feelings, the trust, the connection that the customers have with the brand. So let's move on to the interesting part of this video that I'm eagerly waiting to share with you, and that you're eagerly waiting to hear from me. That is the history of branding. You would be actually surprised to know that the word brand dates back to Old Norse, that is the ancient North German language, which actually means burning of wood, right? And it dates back thousands of years ago when people used to burn wood and burn livestock to create symbolism, to create branding, to create distinctive images to prove ownership of the products. It is not very difficult to understand that we as humans have always been into depicting, symbolizing, proving the ownership, as we all know that Stone Age man used to do cave paintings, right? And what we have found in those cave paintings is that we have found symbols or drawings of animals, plants, trees, and many things like instruments or whatever tools that they used to build, right? And therefore as humans, we have always been into creating logo, symbolism, and creating a depiction of the things. However, that branding is very different from what we understand by the word branding today. So now let's do a time travel directly from 4,000, 6,000 years ago to 1500s to the 16th century, right? And that is basically the origin of branding, right? And so as I've told you that the word brand originally stands for burning of wood, and that was to create unique, distinctive, simple symbols, right? And in 1500s, in the 16th century, it was mainly done to prove the ownership of cattle, and therefore each cattle ranch had its own symbol. So as you can see on the screen, you can see many distinctive yet simple and unique symbols that people used to prove their ownership over the cattle. Simple, distinctive, and unique are the three pillars of creating a brand even today. So that is something hasn't changed over the past thousands of years, hundreds of years, and this is a very important lesson that we can learn from the 16th century as well, that they used to create simple yet unique symbols. So if you have a brand logo that is very complicated, that is very complex, if you have a brand name that is not easy to pronounce, then there are very low chances that the people can relate to it, or there are very low chances that people can recall it during their purchasing, right? And therefore it has to be simple yet distinctive and unique. Now from 1500s, let's move on to 1750s to 1870s, the 100 years of the great industrial revolution. And that is the time when Europe and US were going through an industrial revolution boom. That is when a lot of manufacturing companies, processes were being developed. The mass production of goods was being done for the first time. And at that time, what was being done is that similar kinds of goods were being mass produced by many competitors. And that was the time when the companies started to feel the need of creating a unique identification and felt the need of creating something unique to stand out of the crowd. And if the product is similar, and then the only thing they can do unique is in terms of branding, naming, promoting the product, right? So industrial revolution was the first time when people felt the need to brand their goods to stand out of the competition. And therefore that is the time during 1870s when the registration of trademarks came into rise after the US Congress passed its first trademark act in 1881, and that is when people started to trademark their words, the phrases, the symbols, the designs, the shapes, the colors, everything to protect their product from competitors. Now moving on to 1870s to 1920s, that is moving on from the era of industrial revolution, that is the era of mass producing similar goods, to the era of invention, and that is when many unique brands, trend-setting brands actually came to life. And we know many brands from those days which are still relevant today as well, and which are the market leaders, like Coca-Cola introduced in 1886, like Colgate introduced in 1873, Ford Motor Company 1903, Chanel 1909, Lego 1932, and all these companies were first of their kind, pioneers, trendsetters, and brand builders in their respective industry. And at that time, all these companies were ahead of their time. Like Ford Motor Company offered American-made gasoline-powered vehicles, which was the first time that anybody had done. Chanel used to sell suits for women at the time, which was only used by men, right? So these brands were inventive and first of their kinds, which made them instant industry leaders. Now, back in those days, the only medium for advertisement was through print media, through newspapers, through magazines, and therefore these brands made their mark through the print media. Print provided a space where the brands could use words, logos, illustrations, graphics to differentiate themselves, right? So advertisements were often very informational and descriptive, based upon how the product actually works and what the product could actually do, right? Now let's move on to the new era, that is from 1920s to 1950s. That is when the brands were on air. Now that the production was more efficient, now that the companies were inventive enough to create new products, and now that all those companies were promoting their products, advertising their products to print media, now the next logical step for them was to go on air, to find out a new medium to promote their products. And that is when they came across promoting the products through radios in a setting where potential customers could listen to their products and to the advertisements. So at the beginning of the 20th century, many radio stations were actually operated by radio equipment manufacturers and retailers that used their stations to promote their businesses, right? So by 1920s, radios had become much more popular, and this form of branding came to life through radio jingles, catchphrases, targeted messaging, right? And that was an innovative step in the field of branding. Now, the first radio commercial was actually aired in 1922 on WEF in New York. So here I have a clip of one of the first radio commercials in 1920s, that is of women hair dryer, right? So you can just listen to this clip.
Ladies, tired of drying your hair with the same old vacuum cleaner? Try Avon Shave brand new Beauty Locks portable hair dryer. It's smaller, it's faster, it's guaranteed to give you the hair you've always wanted in half the time. Beauty Locks is delicate and dainty, just like you. The dryer weighs only a pound and easily fits in your head. Now that's beauty and convenience. With a speedy motor that will dry your hair in as little as 25 minutes, you can get gorgeous hair without falling behind schedule. Don't worry about the little ones or that pie in the oven. Thanks to an extra long extension cord, you can move around while primping your locks. Forget those long trips to the salon and no more waiting for hours under monster machines. Alvon Shea gives you an easy and speedy hairdo that will blow your man away. Get it now at your nearest Macy's.
Now, after radio came television, right? So on July 1st, 1941, Boulevard Watches aired the first television commercial before the broadcast of New York baseball game, and it was a 10-second long commercial, which was the first television commercial ever. So it was way back in 1940s that companies started to venture into commercial advertisements on television as well. So here you can watch the clip of that first commercial television advertisement.
America runs on Boulevard time.
So now what happened with television is that people could not only hear the brand, but the brands could now actually come into the homes of the people, and people could see the visuals, the words, the sound, the music, actually bringing the brands closer to their potential customers. Now 1950s to 1960s came the birth of modern branding. So we all know that every adversity brings along with it a huge opportunity and transformation in the society, right? And that was during 1950s and 1960s. That was the post-World War II era. That was during 1950s and 1960s when a lot of modern branding came into light. That was creating huge billboards, subway signs, loud architecture, product packaging, and much more TV commercials, right? And what happened during this time is that branding actually became a different department, a different segment in running a business, right? So all of this time, branding was just a small part that the companies used to do after creating a product. But now, during 1950s and 1960s, the companies actually started to hire product managers, brand managers, who would have a task of only creating a unique identity for a product to separate it from its competitors, right? And one of the major examples that we all can relate to that came to life during those times was McDonald's, right? We all have seen that movie, The Founder, in which Ray Kroc was not the founder of McDonald's, but what he understood from McDonald's was the importance of the name McDonald's, which seemed to be a great American name, and the importance of those golden arches, which represented symbolism, right? So what he did in that movie is that he compared the golden arches to cross on the churches and the American flag, right? So what he basically says is that this will be a place where Americans unite together, come together, to eat food, to create a sense of bonding with each other, and to spend a happy family time, right? And that is what formed the foundation for the success of McDonald's, apart from its Speedy system, right? So Speedy system was the business side, the operation side of McDonald's, but the golden arches, the name McDonald's, was something that was very important from the marketing, the franchise point of view. Now 1960s to 1990s, the branding grows even more. The people move from creating innovative brand logos, brand names, to even changing, upgrading employee uniforms. And the best example is we can see Walmart here on the screen from 1962 to 2008. So what we can see is that how Walmart logo has lightened up over the years. It has become more approachable and fresh. It has changed along with the time, and along with the logo, many brands also changed the company's decor, the interior, the employees' uniforms, and they took the branding to a whole new level, right? And during that time, one more concept of branding came into existence, that is creating a great slogan. And now the great slogans were not only created by upcoming brands, but by also well-known brands as well, because having a great slogan impacted attracted the customers in such a way that they started purchasing and they started developing a sense of trust with the brand, because the slogans were something that were relatable to the emotions. So for example, L'Oreal created a great slogan in 1973, that is, because you're worth it. McDonald's, it's a good time for great taste of McDonald's. And all of these slogans came into light during 1960s to 1990s. And now coming on to our era, that is from 2000s to 2020. So these 20 years have been where the companies have gone beyond the basics of marketing, where now marketing is not just limited to radios or televisions, but now the biggest platform for marketing is social media marketing, internet marketing, where people run Facebook ads, Instagram ads, Google ads to promote their businesses, right? So advertisers have more power, like the ability to target a specific demographic, right, through the Facebook ads, through ads on Instagram. And the companies are becoming more and more data driven, and based on data, what they're doing is that they are developing various advertising strategies to promote their brand in most economical and effective way. Today, the brand reputation is not just word of mouth, but now it has from word of mouth to word of review. And therefore, the customer reviews on platforms like Facebook, Amazon have become so much of importance that those reviews have tremendous power to influence a brand's perception. So buyers basically make decisions based upon the product's rating, and now more than ever, reputation is everything and most important thing for any brand. One of the best examples of branding in today's world, I would say, is Starbucks, right? So Starbucks has a mission statement, an emotional mission statement, that is to inspire and nurture the human spirit, one person, one cup, and one neighborhood at a time. That's an ambitious goal, right? For ultimately, which is just a drive-through concept. But they have a great engaging mobile app, a popular loyalty program, well-crafted retail experience, signature colors, and unmistakable logo, right? So Starbucks has built a devoted customer following, all based around their singular mission. And that is what a great branding can actually do for a company. So that's the history of branding, guys, and it is very interesting to see how times have changed, how companies have changed, how customers have changed, and how the perception of products have changed. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you liked the video, and I hope you understood the history of branding. I hope you learned few lessons of branding, and I will teach you more about branding, what strategies you can use, how to design logo, create an attractive name, and all of that in the coming few videos. But this video today was just to share with you the history of branding and how branding has changed over a periods of thousands and hundreds of years. So if you have liked the video, then do hit the like button, do subscribe to the channel, do share this video, comment down your thoughts below, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, then do subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the bell icon to receive the latest notifications of my videos on time. So I would like to end this video just by quoting two great quotes on branding. One is by Jeff Bezos, that is, your brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room. And the second one is by Howard Schultz, who is the CEO of Starbucks, that is, if people believe they share the values with a company, they will stay loyal to a brand. So these are the two great quotes, and I think they say it all about branding. So if you like the video, then do hit the like button, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, goodbye, take care, thank you.